Hello, this is Melissa in Canada again, and I'm here to talk about Jane Austen adjacent fiction, which I've considered to be fiction by other writers that Austen acknowledges or enjoys as her contemporaries. In my previous Jane Austen adjacent video, I talked about Robert Burns, Sir Walter Scott, Fanny Burney, Anne Radcliffe, and Lord Byron. And today what I have is some Sir Walter Scott and Maria Edgeworth. So in my previous video, we had a volume of Scott's poetry printed in the 1800s to show you. And today, what I have here are 5 volumes of Waverley novels. Sir Walter Scott was famous as a poet before writing prose, and he came out with Waverley as his first novel. He did it anonymously. However, apparently within his own personal circle and within literary circles, it was widely known that Walter Scott was the author of Waverley. But because the general public did not know and it was published anonymously, all of his succeeding novels were simply titled the Waverley Novels because they were on the title page indicated as by the author of Waverley. What I have here are 5 volumes from what I believe was a 25-volume set published in 1862. Some of these were also published in 1863. By Adam and Charles Black. The title for Waverley was 'Tis 60 Years Since, as it came out in 1814, around 1814, 1815, and was about the Jacobite uprising of 1745, which was 60 years before. These volumes here, however, each have 2 of the Waverley novels bound in them. So although they were published in 1862, 1863, they seem to have been bound slightly after that because the marbling is so good that the marbling would have to have been done at the time that they were bound together. So you can see, we go to the next book, right after the end of Notes to Waverley, go right into the next book, 1867, Adam and Charles Black. So right now I am reading Waverley, I'm about 2/3 through it, and I'm looking forward next to reading this one, Kenilworth, which has even more strikingly colorful marble, and you can see the marble boards as well. And Kenilworth we have here 1863. So in these 5 volumes I've been able to acquire 10 of the Waverley novels. Interestingly, Austen knew that Walter Scott had written the Waverley novels. It's in one of her letters where she talks about Walter Scott has no business writing novels, especially good ones, and writes to her nephew at one point, I've resolved to like no novels, but yours, Miss Edgeworth's, and mine. And that brings me to my next person, which is Maria Edgeworth. And actually, Jane Austen's nephew actually acknowledges in his memoir of Jane Austen that he doesn't know how she knew that Sir Walter Scott was the author of the Waverley novels, because she didn't travel in literary circles because she was publishing anonymously, and she wasn't part of his personal circle because they never met. So it's an unknown to us how, in her letters, we have documented evidence that she knew the Waverley novels were written by Sir Walter Scott. I do have one other Walter Scott item before I get to Maria Edgeworth, and that's this beautiful edition of The Lady of the Lake. It's actually in the poetry volume that I displayed in my previous video, but the print inside it is very, very tiny. So my husband picked up this absolutely beautiful edition with text a far more readable size of The Lady of the Lake. Now this is, here we have some illustrations. Illustrations by C.E. Brock, who actually did the illustrations for Pride and Prejudice in the Macmillan Standard illustrated novel series. And this one's printed in New York. What we're missing here, though, is a copyright date. I did see a book dated 1900 that had this exact same biographical notice or biography in it, and the same number of pages in it. So I'm dating this one. It had a red leather cover though, so I'm thinking this one is post 1900, maybe around 1910. But if anyone has any further information on that, please feel free to let us know in the comments. It is a beautiful edition. And now on to Maria Edgeworth, who has the distinction of being the only professional author to whom Austen ever sent a presentation copy of her works. She sent Maria Edgeworth a presentation copy of Emma. So Maria Edgeworth published her novels in the early 19th century as well. And what I have here are two of her very famous novels in one volume. Castle Rackrent, actually you can see them both on here. Castle Rackrent and The Absentee, Edgeworth. This edition here is from is a discarded library edition, but it's dated 1905 New York. Each of the books does have a couple illustrations in it. Castle Rackrent is actually not very long. The Absentee actually takes up most of this volume. Well, there is a list of illustrations, and I was hoping to find the frontispiece here. There we are, The Absentee, Maria Edgeworth. This one printed 1905. I look forward to reading these. Austen does mention Edgeworth's Belinda in Northanger Abbey when she's listing, she's showing her disdain for someone saying that, oh, it's only a novel, it's only Camilla or Cecilia or Belinda. Camilla and Cecilia being works of Fanny Burney and Belinda being a work of Edgeworth. I don't have a copy of Belinda, but it's on my wish list. She's also known for her short stories or popular tales. And so I did, at the same used bookstore where I picked up that volume, I picked up this one of her popular tales. I don't have one of Miss Maria Edgeworth's popular tales. And I don't have, oh, this is number 2. I don't have a copyright date though, unfortunately. There is no date on here, but I have looked into this collection here, edited by this person, and I have dated it as pre-1936. So I'm thinking it may be quite contemporary to that volume there. I did get them all at the same store as well. But I've not seen anything else that's bound like this. I don't know if her popular tales are often separately bound or released in volumes together. So I'm not entirely sure what it is I'm holding in my hand, but it seemed pretty unique in the bookstore. So I grabbed that while I was there as well. And then I am also interested in biography. So I was able to get a hold of this Maria Edgeworth by the Honorable Emily Lawless. You can see the gilt on the top, and it actually has also, it's a top quality item. It also has the 2-color title page, and it's dated 1904. And so I look forward to reading this biography. This Englishman of Letters actually also has an edition on the life of Fanny Burney, Fanny Burney's letters as well. And it's also in really good shape and quite readable. So I look forward to reading this biography of Miss Edgeworth as well. And as I mentioned, she was one of Austen's favorites. Her stories were really brought to life Ireland of the time. And she was the only professional author that Austen actually sent a presentation copy of her works to. If anyone has read a follow-up about how that was received, I'd be interested in knowing. So please drop me a line in the comments and let me know if you have any other information on that. Thank you so much.